Plant-based Riot is a savage food-fighting card game. In the criminal underworld of villainous vegetables, you must assemble gangs, destroy your rivals, and overthrow the ruthless cartel to win. How? By collecting sets, stealing from your opponents, and matching the cartel cards. Plant-based Riot is a ruthless game of strategy, stealing, and terrible edibles. There can only be one winner. Now, to play Plant-based Riot, first find 2 to 5 of your closest criminals. For this example, we're gonna use 4. To get started, gather around a table and separate the cartel cards from the rest of the deck and leave them to one side. Shuffle the remaining cards and deal 5 face down to each player. Put the rest face down in the middle. This is the draw pile. The area in front of each player where you will put your gang cards is called your turf. Only cards in your turf are in play. Cards in your hand are not yet in play. Now, back to the cartel cards. There's 10 cartel cards, 1 for each gang. They tell you what gangs you need to collect to beat the cartel in a turf war and win the game. Shuffle them, draw 3, and remove the remaining cards from the game. Place your cartel cards next to the draw pile in the center. Now, who goes first? It's pretty simple. It's the last person who ate a vegetable. Before the game starts, everyone gets to look at a cartel card so you know at least one of the gangs to collect. Now, on to the game. During each turn, pick up 2 cards from the draw pile and take up to 3 moves. You can lay gang cards or security cards in your turf. It is possible to move wild cards and security cards between gangs in your turf. This takes up 1 move per card. You can play an action card by following the instructions on the card and placing it on the discard pile. There are many types of action cards, like the Sneaky Leaky. He's a snitch, a dirty rat, and he'll help you find the weaknesses in the cartel. The Bad Apple cards. These rotten punks have come straight out of the garbage. They're low-down, dirty thieves. They'll help you steal cards from your rival's turf. And the Turf Rotation card, which lets you spin everyone's turf 1 player to the left or right. This will really turn the game on its head. This game encourages you to bluff, steal, and screw people over. It might even turn into a real riot. Once you've got 2 complete gangs, that's 3 cards per gang, you can use 1 move to start a turf war with the cartel. You've just gotta shout, "Turf War!" and then check if the gangs in your turf match those on the cartel cards. If at least 2 of the full gangs in your turf match those in the cartel, you overthrow them. The world belongs to you. Congratulations, you're now the kingpin. But what happens if the cartel cards were different and you didn't match 2 gangs? Well then, forget about it. You don't win. And any full gangs that don't match get whacked. Those suckers will sleep with the fishes in the discard pile. So, before you head out and start a riot, there's some essential rules you gotta know. Never put cards back into your hand. Cards can only move 1 way, from your hand to your turf. Only cards laid down in your turf are vulnerable to action cards. Double-headed wild cards and some action cards only work on certain gangs. It'll say on the card. After a failed turf war, you can still take any remaining moves. If you have no cards in your hand at the start of your turn, pick up 5 from the draw pile. If you have more than 7 cards in your hand at the end of your turn, discard any surplus cards onto the discard pile. You don't have to use all 3 moves during your turn. When the draw pile runs out, shuffle the discard pile and place it face down to create a new draw pile. If you want to make the game easier, you can draw 4 or 5 cartel cards at the beginning. If you want to make the game harder, use the rival gangs rule. So, to recap, on each turn you need to Draw 2 cards and take up to 3 moves, and your aim is to collect at least 2 full gangs, start a turf war, and take over the cartel. So, get going on building your own mob of terrible edibles from the Spudniks, Beat Boxers, Tommy Splats, Tear Jerkers, the Colonels, Egg Spindables, Karate Kids, Broccoli Brutes, Shroom Up Doom, and the Hit Peas, Plant-Based Riot. So what are you waiting for? Go start a riot. Capiche?